Amber, you with us? You're as beautiful as ever. I think you're muted. There you go. So, how are you doing in these uncertain times, Amber?
Good. I mean, really good. How else can you be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's either that. I mean, there's two things we can do, and I don't want to get started. Wait another minute or two for everybody else. Is either we can watch television like all the other insane people in the world that are spreading fear, right? Because CNN is spreading fear faster than people are spreading germs right now. Or we can do what we were meant to do, which was be great parents, great neighbors, friends, great agents, and just call everybody up and say, "How are you doing?"
Yeah.
And just be genuine and sincere. So,
Rich, I don't know if you know this. The link on Facebook was for a meeting on 4/9.
oh, okay.
I had to call Debbie and she had to help me get in.
Gotcha. Thanks for the heads up on
You're
that.
welcome. No worries.
Thank you. So let's start off. I think it's about 12 o'clock right now. So it's 12:03. Let's start off because we're never late. So Amber, this is Amber Rutherford. So Amber, I've met about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. She became a Bolt coach. She is the rainmaker on a team in the Tampa Bay area and surrounding areas. And I would like you to tell everybody where you service, because my goal for everybody is for you to help everybody with mindset, Amber, and for everybody to help you with the referral business, because I want you to get something out of this. And then I want you to, you opened up a title company about 15 months ago, and you're a mom of 4 kids, preteen. I think there's somewhere between like 5 and 10 or 5 and 12, something like that.
Yep.
Happily got a wonderful husband, Jared, who on Facebook this morning was saying that he's the better half. Yeah, and he's a fantastic individual, husband, agent, and all while doing somewhere between 30 and 40 million. So why don't you take it away? Tell us everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we'll start in with some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you, Rich, for the opportunity to come and join you guys. I love working with Rich, being a coach with Rich. You know, he is definitely an iron sharpened irons friend of mine. And so I can always pick up the phone and know he's going to set me straight on whatever I'm thinking. So yes, just a little bit about us. You hit the nail on the head. We have 4 kids from 5 all the way to 11. The top 2 are twins. We got a 2-for-1 special. And then we have a team in Tampa. We usually do about 100 deals a year. We've been doing that since our 3rd year in the business. And we opened a title company. That's something that if you guys have questions about, additional streams of revenue. It's interesting, our real estate team, we saw orders diminishing, and yet the title company, we saw our investor orders picking up. And so for the first time, I'm realizing, wow, the mindset of a business owner is many streams of revenue, because when one takes a hit, another one might do really well. And I'll just be honest, before this, 7 years ago, I was a teacher and my husband was a firefighter. So thinking like a business owner and additional streams of revenue, this is a whole new way of thinking. So anyway, and I can pick up the phone and say, Rich, am I thinking about this the right way? And he always helps me.
We've had several of those conversations, both me calling you and you calling me. So absolutely. I love that. So talk to me a little bit about, we're finding ourselves in these uncertain times with the coronavirus, and people are, there's a lot of safety issues going on, and these are real. And we want the agents to know first and foremost that safety is the first thing. It's God, family, and then business. So everybody's safety is the most important thing in the world. So what are you doing differently on your team to deal with these uncertain times? We call them fascinating times. What are we doing, Amber?
I think one thing to write down is, or I guess 2 things. It's be confident and have a plan. I think people want to be in business with confident people. And so as soon as the CDC came up with social distancing, we threw out there, we are still showing houses, and here's how we're doing it. We can do a virtual open house. We can do a buyer consultation virtually. And we do it the same way, just we're doing right now, Zoom, and we share the screen, and we're meeting with people online. Same thing with the listing presentation. We put out, if you guys find me on Facebook, I think last week sometime, I shared our team's virtual buyer's guide. Guys, this is the same thing everybody's been talking about for 4 weeks, yet we just put it in a nice little infographic and put it out there. And that shows confidence that we're not hiding, because really you can meet with them virtually. You can show them homes through video tours. You negotiate, you sign through Dotloop or DocuSign. Everything can happen, even title companies. We're doing closings through Ron, remote online notarization. Everything can happen virtually. And honestly, you know, Rich, you said we were going to talk about mindset. Does anybody see this virtual aspect as a silver lining? By a show of hands. Yes. I mean, Tampa, you guys know it's huge. For me to drive from Plant City all the way over to Clearwater, which is considered Greater Tampa Bay, in 5 o'clock traffic, you're talking 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Absolutely. And you're sitting there going, you know, white knuckling the whole entire time, bumper to bumper. For me, I think we are figuring out how to be so much more efficient, and we're serving people how they desire to be served. You know, if people buy from Carvana, their cars out of a gumball machine, I mean, a $50,000 vehicle, a $200,000 house, you know, this is how people today would like to be served. And I think it's about time we caught up with it. So we're just, we've been doing a lot of out of town, out of the country meetings for a long time. And so this is really just for us to think about, how have we been working with foreign clients or investors in Miami? Now, how can we apply that to everybody that we're serving? I think it's great.
So tell me, Amber, what are some of the things or systems that you're building that you didn't use prior to Corona, that now that you've implemented are going to stay long past the coronavirus when it terminates? What are some of the things, really the golden nuggets you picked up?
So DTD2 is amazing. How many of you guys are following DTD2? Okay, so that's Do the Database 2, which is 2 letters a week, every single week, and that means you get through your whole database in a quarter. We have now figured out how to do that in a month. And so, and here's the reality, all work expands to fill the time allowed. We've realized that this is changing so much that every single month there's something different to talk with people about. So I think that's one thing that's going to stay, is talking to our database systematically more frequently. Once a quarter, I mean, I just think you might get them to answer once a year. And so if we're calling once a month, then you can talk to them multiple times. Another thing we're keeping is the virtual aspect. And then the third thing that we are keeping, and I reflected on this a lot over Easter weekend, there is so much little required to run a thriving business and to lead a really happy life. We were so, I don't even know that we run such a yuppie business and a yuppie household. I mean, my husband, when we went on those auto pays, how many of you guys like slashed your budget and looked at your auto pays? Yeah, he had this shaving thing that every month or every quarter sent him these new fancy $50 razors. And I was like, $50 razors? What is this? And then I said, babe, where are all of these? And he opened the closet and he showed me in the bathroom, the pile of them that he has. But we were just fat, like we had a lot of fat on all of our budgets. And so we've realized there is so little that is really required to run a real estate business. There's a lot of nice things. And yet when push comes to shove, we did a lot of lazy things because it was easier just to pay for them.
Yeah.
The same thing, my 5-year-old daughter the other day, she's standing in front of the TV and she's like, Mommy, Disney Plus is broken. Disney Plus is broken. I said, no, Addison, it's not broken. It went away and it's never coming back. Why? I said, because it's $6.95 a month and we don't need it. She's like, I don't like budgeting, Mom.
You're training her really early how to be a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Good for
Well,
you.
here's why. We had 4 or 5 streaming services. So Disney Plus went away, yet Netflix stayed. And really, do we need 5 streaming services?
That's right. No, you don't. You don't. So Amber, you spoke about mindset. You said now you're calling your database every month as opposed to each quarter. So did you have to deal with some monkey mind with some of your teammates saying, I just don't know what to say? Because sometimes I hear agents, and especially in the bold room, they don't believe they have enough value to give to have to talk about once a quarter even, let alone once a month. So how did you deal with that with your agents on your team?
I just kind of speak to it from my own heart. Rich, do you get nervous on the first step to bold, walking into a bold room?
Every time.
I get so sick to my stomach and I think they're going to think I'm a fraud. They're going to think that I'm this. That's human nature. All of us have a monkey mind. And so our first calls were just, are you okay? And is there anything we can do for you? And so we had to go find toilet paper. We had to go buy plastic gloves. We had to do all this different stuff because if you're going to throw it out there, people are going to say yes. So I think our initial calls when this first started were really just, do you need grocery help? Can the kids, pick your weeds or, whatever it might be. And so that's how we started. And no, because here's the thing, we every single morning at 8:30, our team gets together and we do a team huddle. And in that team huddle, we throw out the monkey mind. And a lot of it is just we're struggling too, to be honest. I mean, we have 4 kids, we're homeschooling, we've got all these different businesses and responsibilities, and people out there do as well. And so you're really just offering, how can we help? Gary Keller gave the best script ever. And it was, the first thing is, what are you seeing out there? This is to call your database. What are you seeing out there? Because for a homeschool mom, she's going to talk about that. For a small business owner, they're going to talk about their SBA loans. What are you seeing out there because of COVID or coronavirus? The second thing is, how are you feeling about that? Like, how are you doing? Okay. And then the third thing is, so what are you doing about that? And what can I, and it's kind of like a combo question. And what can I do for you about that? A lot
Absolutely
of people
love
are
that.
losing their jobs. They're being furloughed. And so what can I do for them is make connections with other companies that, aren't letting people go. It's a simple script and it's really just, it's heart share. I care about you, that then turns into mind share. Okay. Like I love you and I'm an awesome real estate agent. And then the third thing is market share.
So Amber, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're not actually asking for referrals, talking real estate, and you're just coming from the heart because you're coming from contribution, you're sharing with other people. What can we do for you? And in return, would you say it's fair to say that a good portion of the people come around and ask you, so Amber, how is the real estate market doing? Is that a fair assessment?
It is a fair assessment for a couple of reasons. When you ask someone how is their work, they automatically typically ask you, how is your work going? Okay. And people say, is the real estate market being hit by all of this? Because they hear that in the news. Something that we're doing every week is, and I'm sure you are too, yet it's powerful. Here is the Tampa Bay real estate stats. 3,000 new active listings, 24 pending, and 25 sold. And so, and we just say it, like Rich said at the beginning of this call, the media is going to tell you one thing, and yet I want you to not have fear. If you do have to move, if you are thinking of upsizing, downsizing, if you lost your job and you need your equity, homes are still selling every single day. Put that message out there. And another thing we have on our team is we play a fun game called Connect It to Real Estate. And so we throw a question out in our huddle in the morning. And someone will say, obviously, how's work? Well, that's easy to connect it to real estate.
Right.
Yet if somebody says, hey, how are the kids? Look at the kitty cat. I love it. I just saw Frank's kitty. That we should have the Zoom bingo. We just saw an animal. You probably heard mine barking, so that's another scare. And you just play with your team or ask yourself, how can you connect the conversation back to real estate? People ask me all the time, how are the kids? Oh, they're good. You know, the 20 hours I'm spending with them outside of all of my real estate showings, my goodness, it's been so busy. You just think of ways that you can pull back in real estate because it is what you do the most.
So I know there's a lot of moms out there that want to ask you this question, so I'm going to ask it for them. So Amber, how do you have 4 kids under the age of 11, a brand new title company, a robust real estate business, a happy marriage? How are you juggling all of these things and still being purposeful?
So, I trust you have a schedule written for this new season of life. For the first week, Jared and I kind of did tag team in. You're in with the kids. No, I'm in with the kids. And then we jumped out and it did not go very well. And so we have like schedules everywhere in every room. And it's what do you do in the morning before you walk out of your room? What is your weekly, and they're all working. So I have from their teachers do their work on Sunday nights. They put it online. So what do? I've got blocked Sunday night that I make this big checklist for the week, and we highlight and we celebrate our success. For us, Jared is doing the morning shift. I'm doing the morning shift and he does the afternoon shift. And so, you know, he gets in the morning until about 12ish, and then I take the afternoon to work because we were both working. And we said, you know what? The purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. And the perfect life isn't my children being cannibals of each other and like fighting and screaming and swimming with no supervision. That's not my life. It's just not. And if I have to make a little less money or something happens, you know what? God's going to take care of me because I actually paid attention to them. So now I sit, we have a son with ADHD. So I sit with him every single morning. We do about an hour and a half together. We get our whole work done for the day. I feel so happy. He feels so happy. Another thing that Jared and I have done is we've been asking ourselves this, and I'd write this down. What is my legacy going to be on the other side of this? What is my legacy going to be? Because my mindset right now is I have asked God so many times, give me a season where I can be at home more, where I can snuggle my babies more. Well, guess what?
You've got it now.
I got it. And so I am not going to be irresponsible with something I've been begging for. And so Jared and I keep asking ourselves, what are we going to do for our marriage during this time? We have a little fire table outside. And sometimes we say, sorry, kids, you're going to watch some Netflix and daddy and I are going to be by the fire. If you walk out this door, you're going straight to bed. So we're being intentional with us. We also started a 66-day health challenge. So we're on week 2 of P90X, getting up in the morning because usually we, get up at 4:35 and we're out the door by 6:30 in the morning. We are just so intentional with every single minute, which means we have to plan. How many of you are really good natural planners? Okay, great. So 3 of you are, I am not. I have to set a calendar reminder every Friday at 1:00, create the schedule for next week, close out the books. How did we do on our goals? And I've had that same calendar reminder for 5 years. And one day it's just going to happen, Rich. It just hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So we are being really intentional. If you don't know what to be intentional around, pull out the one thing, those 7 circles. It will move you forward in every area of your finances, in your business, in your job, in your key relationships. If you just take one step in the right direction on those 7, you're going to be doing really well in life.
It appears you are definitely a perfect example of, if you've read John Maxwell's Intentional Living and The One Thing, you are extremely purposeful from my viewpoint. And maybe it doesn't come natural to you, and yet you are at a very high level. And I know because you've just shown us, so you have checklists around the house or schedules for the children, for Jared, for yourself, that keeps you on task. And drill down a little bit about that, Ann, because I think that will help the agents, because I think most people are just by the seat of their pants. They do things when they remember them, and if they don't, then it doesn't get done. So talk to us a little about the mindset behind that.
Yeah, so here's the mindset piece of it. I have a GPS for every company. And for, I'll give you just kind of for bold, it's number of bold registrations I'm going to have during the year. For the title company, it's the number of orders or closings we're going to have in a month. For the real estate team, it's the number of closings backwards mapped all the way to appointments that we're going to have every month. And for me, like those things can't move, they don't move because I know that when they happen, we get to buy another investment property or a market center or something that gets me so excited. And ultimately, I get to have more options with my kids. So I have a very clear what am I doing this year? And yet it's really clear what I'm doing this year because I know where I want to be in 5 years. And so that, again, from the one thing, ask yourself constantly, and I have it on my computer, just a Word document, and it's just these long-term goals that I'm constantly working for. Check your net worth every single month. If you want a sobering statistic to keep you moving in the right direction, look at that every month, okay?
Sure.
After we got all of our look at all these, see all these downward, everything in the market is going downward. So you know what that means? Time to hustle more so I can put more money in right now. So when it goes up, then we're gonna reap the benefit from this shift. So anyway, back to where I was, 5 years, 1 year is my GPS. And then we live off of our 411, which is what I do every Friday around lunchtime for the next upcoming week. And my 411, I just basically say, what do I have to do in the title company this week? What do I get to do in the real estate company? What am I doing with my kids? We do different Bible studies throughout the year. What are Jared and I going to do for our marriage? We schedule everything that's really important to us, okay? And from, kind of my big rocks in each business, I just flow it down on my phone. And I used to do a paper calendar, and I'll be honest, in this season, I've gotten away from that. One day I'll get back to it. We're just doing everything on our Google Calendar. And Jared and I share calendars. My VA can put things in, and yet I just make sure I have time blocked for the most important things to move us forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned about investment properties. So you do have some investment properties. So are you a buyer in this market? Are you waiting? Are you sitting on the sidelines? What are you doing?
No, so we are really looking for some big opportunities. And that's, speaking of opportunity for you guys, everybody right now is talking about this book, right? Ad nauseum. You know what book you should be reading?
Hold.
Hold.
MREA Investor.
You got it. Write it down. MREI. You should be reading that right now for you to feel confident, and then start doing book studies on social media. Have a virtual virtual book study. Ever curious about investing in real estate? And put the tagline, greatest shift in wealth happens in down and up markets. And so be on the forefront of that. Yes. So the moral of the story is, in MREI, you learn the best investment is where you get the equity coming into the deal. You find it 15% or below market value. Guys, do you think some people are distressed right now? They've got to move their property fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it is not taking advantage of their situation, and yet there are deals everywhere to be had. So yes, we are definitely in the market.
Love that. Love that. Now, do you have when you're in the market, you and Jared to buy another house, are you getting your inventory out of MLS, or are you getting that from the auctions, or are you people coming you to list your house and you just find the need and you say, look, I'll just buy the house? Where do you buy your houses from, Amber?
Or wholesale?
So two really places. The first one is every listing appointment that we go on, we're asking, should we buy it? And we've learned that that's the best place for us because we're on a lot of listing appointments. And we've gotten burned on some properties that they were like, yeah, we'd sell to an investor. We just want to get out fast, and we couldn't find the right match, or we didn't jump on it. And then we end up putting it on the MLS and selling it for $50,000 more than we could have bought it for. So it happens. Gary Keller talks about that. That's the first story in Millionaire Real Estate Investor. He said, here's how I learned to always be in the market is when he lost out on I think it was a beach condo or a lake condo. Anyway, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're not doing this, I would recommend this, write it down. Call every single week, at least a handful of agents, co-brokers in the real estate market, and just ask them, how are things going for you? This is what we're seeing over at KW. What are you guys doing? Help each other out, because in that co-broke conversation, you can also ask them, do you have any deals coming to the market? Do you have any sellers that are a little trepidatious and you're just holding on to the listing? If I could find you an investor where they never have to show the property, do you think that's something they'd be interested in? And so that co-broke conversation is obviously a win for a downline. It's a win just for goodwill to our fellow agents. Invite them into the shift conversations. And whenever I have found this to be true, whenever you find the deals out there, don't worry about the money. Just find the deals. The money will come to you. Because if you put out there on social media, I've got a great investment that you can get 20% below market value, the money's going to show up. Just get out there and find the deals. Put yourself in the middle of it.
That's a great point, Amber. What I find is when I'm teaching wealth building classes in my market centers, when I ask raise your hand, how many people actually have at least one investment property other than your primary? And normally I get about 10% of the class to raise their hand. Then I ask the question, how many people own stock in their IRA, SEP, with 401k? You own some sort of stock somewhere. And I get somewhere between 50 and 75% of the class to raise their hand. And then I shake my head in disbelief and I ask the question, now which one are you licensed in? Do you have a Series 6, Series 7 license? Or do you have you are classified as an expert in the state of Florida in selling real estate. And yes, you're investing your money in a gamble because you're not an expert in stocks and mutual funds.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you this, our real estate properties didn't take hits like all these did.
Yeah. This is a wonderful time, guys. I know that I'm in the middle of a 1031 exchange, Amber. So I've sold and I'm waiting to buy. And they just, as of, I think, Saturday, Congress just passed, or the president just passed the extension, because you have 45 days to identify 3 properties. And they just extended it to 135 days.
Nice.
They added on 90 days because my drop dead deadline is April 15th. So, and I still didn't purchase, right? Because I didn't want to be forced into it just to get the tax advantage. So they just gave me the whole country 90 days extra. And if you haven't done a 1031, guys, what a way to defer paying taxes. It's not a tax abatement, it's a tax deferment. And guys, most people don't know, Amber, that if you just go in your database and you know one doctor, one attorney, whatever, an accountant, they all have retirement programs, 401k, SEP, whatever it is. Most people are unaware that that money doesn't have to be invested in stocks or mutual funds or bonds. You can actually buy real estate inside your retirement account and unlock hundreds of thousands of dollars that most people don't even know about.
Yeah, I just sold my parents a condo 4 years ago, and I sold it to them for $174, and we're going to be listing it at $260.
Imagine that.
4 years. Nothing I have invested in the stock market has done that. That is something, Rich, I would definitely recommend everyone to write down. So our database has been our main focus for the last couple of years. How about you guys? Database focused? By show of hands. Okay, good. And yet a lot of our database are teachers, and teachers where I live are figuring out how to now be virtual teachers, and they're pulling their hair out. A lot of our database is firefighters, and in Tampa, they're now calling them in for additional shifts, and they're putting additional people on the rescue cars. So the frontline people are not really thinking about it, and we were not getting the conversion that we like to get. And so Jared and I said, okay, where can we find right now business? How many of you are looking for right now business?
2 hands up, guys.
Yes, if I could put my leg up, I would. Yes, so right now business. And we started thinking, So we own a Airbnb property on the beach, and you know how good that market is right now.
And the trash.
I had this full booked calendar, Jim, and then it went whew, wiped all completely clean. No one is at the beach. So I promise you, if you were to look at the tax records and people who don't actually live at their primary and it's used as an income property, some of them are ready to get that thing off their books and to get it sold. It's that final, straw that broke the camel's back. So are you looking for those people that have to sell? Okay. Same thing with landlords. They are not doing rent deferrals, most of them, and yet some people are not going to be able to pay. So those are right now business. The other thing is, Jared and I told you, have been taking our health under in control, and we're out walking and we saw this cute for sale by owner 2 streets over from us, a little yellow house, and we're thinking about it for my mother-in-law. And I kept thinking, oh, I'll call. Did I?
No.
No. And about 6:45 the other morning, we turn around the corner, and what do I see in the yard?
Sold.
Oh, no.
Another agent sign?
Sign in the yard.
Oh.
It was not this face. It was the wrong face. So here's the thing, and it was like the light bulb. Jared and I started our first few years in real estate for sale by owners and expired because we started with Bold. And I was the for sale by owner queen. I love for sale by owners. And yet when you look at the MREA, the conversion with your database is so much higher that we really put for sale by owners on the back burner. And guess who's right back out front now? We called Vulcan 7, and I'm not talking about an auto dialer, yet we called Vulcan 7 to get all of the numbers for sale by owners, expires, cancels, and withdrawals, just so that we have the information a lot easier than us searching on Zillow, not using the auto dialer. And we are out there now actively calling for sale by owners, because this is my favorite thing on mindset in the shift. The 20% rule applies, and you're on this call because you're the 20%. 20%, the 80-20 principle always applies. 80% of the world right now is saying, oh, we can't do anything, and real estate's bad, and everyone's dying, and all this stuff. And yet, for those of you that are on this call, I trust you see there's so much opportunity sitting in front of us. Now that we're calling for sale by owners again, do you think they're telling us, you're the 15th real estate agent that's called me today? No, they're not. Because everybody's on vacation right now. They're just taking a break. And so look for that right now business. To get on the other side of this, you really only need 3 pieces of business that can give you the greatest return. Your database, yes. What about those second property owners? Okay. And then the third one, for sale by owners.
So Amber, you're the
narrow
second
in and
person.
really nail it.
You're the second mega agent within the last 7 days that said the same thing about Airbnb. Tony Baroni said the same thing. Tony's targeting them also right now. So if you have any, when they do go through tax records, if the homeowner doesn't live as primary residence and there's a secondary, he's targeting those households with phone calls and with letters in his marketing campaign. And a lot of those Airbnb just don't have the cash flow. They don't have the cash flow to cover this for possibly 90 days or 120 days until the market comes back. They need to sell right now. It's immediate business.
Yep.
It's just a phone call.
We can't even allow bookings. And so I don't even know when it's going to come back. I mean, we have nothing in the pipeline. And so some people can handle that. And Rich, you nailed it. Some definitely can't.
Yeah. So John has got a question. He said, do you get better results from Vulcan 7 or RedX? With the numbers.
We have not used RedX. A lot of agents in Bold say that they have great luck with it. I believe, when I talk to other maps coaches, that Vulcan 7 is the best for the price. Like, it's the best quality for the price.
Best bang for the buck.
Yeah, the best for the buck. We have hacked our real estate budget literally down to like nothing, unless it's a paycheck for a person. We've gotten rid of everything else.
So you have cut all the fat. Now you're down to the bone.
Down to the bone, and every dollar that gets spent must be approved by yours truly.
I love that. So also, John says, why don't you dial them with Mojo or one of the other predictive dialers?
So we have Vulcan 7 has a dialer, and I don't have my hat yet. I'm going to put my company hat on right now and say Keller Williams does not endorse using robo dialers, auto dialers, and so I'm not on a webinar going to promote them.
There you go. So I'm going to open this up for Q&A, Amber. Any questions that the agents may have? You have got one of the world's best people. I've gotten to know Amber over 3 years. She is as wonderful in person as what you just seen over the last 40 minutes. She's a fantastic mom, wife, a real estate agent, and bold coach. We have a lot of offline conversations, and we like to soundboard for each other on our title companies. You know, we're both making mistakes here and there, and in our businesses, right?
Awesome.
And we've got to juggle family behind this too. So what questions do you have for Amber? Total amazement, crickets.
Not all at once, I get a little overwhelmed.
It says, how do you feel about sending out marketing? Let's see what that says. Marketing materials.
Where's Carlene at?
Carlene Grimes is on here.
Okay, hold on, why don't I see her video screen? I love my Carlene.
How are you, Amber?
I'm good. You're like hidden somewhere. Anyway, so marketing materials, we're doing a lot on Facebook. The ad spend that we do have right now is on campaigns on social media. So using Facebook ads, we are not doing any paper mailers. Nothing right now, because honestly, we can pick up the phone and have a way better return than any paper mailer, and that's free. So right now, we've really just put a stop to it.
There's no shortcuts, Amber.
No,
Love that.
we're working harder than we ever have. My friend Andy Peters posted the other day. He said, I'm working half days during this pandemic. He said 7 to 7. And
Amber,
it really is.
Amber, are you're out of Tampa Properties, or did you say that you're the broker, or you just have a team over there? Is that what it is?
No, we're at Keller Williams Tampa Properties. Kimberly Horn is our team leader, and Ginger Perkins is our broker, and Nikki Ubaldini is our owner.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you said that you owned a market center. That's why I was.
No, we own a title company.
Okay.
So she loved the promotion. She'll take the market center too. Thanks for the raise.
Listen, if you have opportunities, you can find me offline.
I think we're already Facebook friends, so.
I love it.
So Root Squire says, does Vulcan 7 allow you to isolate absentee homeowners specifically, or do you have to find the addresses and then request those numbers through the system?
So there probably is a better way of doing it. What we do is we find the address. So we're not calling everyone. Let's just put that out there. When I was a for sale by owner, I just literally did this massive area and it dialed for me and I talked to every single person. Now it is geographically what makes sense to us, or the agents that are quarantining at home that could go on an appointment or do a virtual appointment. So we are really targeting in an area. So if we see a property that we like, and we're going through, so think about a bell curve of real estate, okay? Like this in the middle is the median home price. We are going for median up to 3/4. We don't want the highest end. We want the median home price up to about the 3/4 way, because it's going to be a really great return and they actually still move. We have luxury properties that are like, the human capital that they require for the maybe someday paycheck, we're just starting to realize it's not our jam. I don't like to talk to people for that long. I want to sell their house and then like work on the next one. So we're looking up the property and getting the information.
You know, it's funny what you just mentioned is so true, Amber, because we have different micro markets within the real estate market. It's almost like a tale of two markets. When you hit the luxury market, the average days on market and the negotiating sales price to list price ratio is totally different than if you take like in the Orlando, Claremont area, where houses, anything under 350 is selling in 7 days, right? Anything in our Spring Hill and Citrus office, the average price point is probably about 150 to 175. So anything under 250 over there. Once you get like in the 500 or above, it takes a little longer. And once you hit $1 million in Orlando, it's going to sit for a while. It seems the pool of buyers is diminished. The money's scared, whatever. Those houses are sitting for a while.
Yes, absolutely.
So what other questions do we have, guys? One last question, 1 or 2 more questions, and then we're going to let Amber go because she's given us more than her allotted time. I'm so appreciative of being on today's call. So we got time for 1 or 2 more questions, guys.
Amber, can you explain more about the remote notary?
Yeah, sure. So I bet Rich's title company does the same. There's something called RON, Remote Online Notarization, and it became legal in January of this year. How is that for timing? And what that basically means is that through like a Zoom type of meeting, you have a remote notarization. No people are physically together.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and what great timing for the situation we never knew we'd even be in.
Right.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One last question, guys. Who wants to take us home? If that's it, guys, Amber, all I can say is thank you so much. Tell everybody once again what areas you do cover. So if they have a referral in your area, we would love for you to send them to Amber. Where do you cover?
So Jared and I and the team, we cover, and we're a small team. It's really the 2 of us, and then we have 2 buyer's agents. We cover from basically the Bay Area, so St. Pete, Clearwater, and then over into Tampa, and then all the way down south to Apollo Beach.
There you go, guys. Well, Amber, thank you so much. I owe you big time. Anything you need.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Am I going to see some of you guys in Bold Pivot? Good.
Guys, how many of you are already registered? Give me a thumbs up.
Awesome. I love it. My husband
had job security, Amber.
What?
It's called job security.
Thank God.
They've got to be in there.
When to rent my beach properties, I got to at least Coach Bold or something.
That's right.
All right. I appreciate you guys. If I can ever be of service, reach out to me on social media, okay?
Love it. Thank you so much. Tell Jared I said hello.
I will. Bye.
Take care, guys.